Hello, Schmoville. Exciting day all the way around in Schmoville today. This is phase 2 of the podcast. A lot of new subscribers have been checking out the show, going back into the archives, and for good reason. You're trying to get caught up because on April 3rd, 2014, the podcast phase 5 begins. I can now say that we will be broadcasting from Kevin Undergaro and Maria Menounos' studio, AfterBuzz TV. That's where we'll be recording. The capabilities there are incredible. We'll be able to have the live calls, all that stuff. So that would never have been able to happen had this phase of the podcast never happened. And that is still going to phase 2. Catherine Reitman was our co-host. We were starting, the rhythm was there. We were moving. We had a lot of cool guests on, and they kept coming. This episode, we talked about scores and soundtracks. And what was really cool about this, we initially had on our buddy Eric Melgren, who's part of the band Shotgun Honeymoon, and he performed live in studio of his song Up to Something, which, if you watch that video, there is a Schmoville character in Up to Something. So I suggest looking that up on YouTube and commenting there on that one. You'll know right away who it is once you see it. The other thing that was really cool, this was the debut of our pal Chris Stuckman. He called in, he Skyped, and he talked about some of his favorite scores and soundtracks and movies. It was a great conversation. It was a lot of fun. We had a blast, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you haven't subscribed, please do, and you haven't commented. And make sure you go over to the main channel right now. If you're watching this today, the day I uploaded it, go to the main channel and check out how you can win a copy of The Wolf of Wall Street Blu-ray. Only one day, so if you're watching this on a repeat, I apologize.
All right, we're back. It's the Schmoes Know podcast. Christian Harloff here.
Mark Ellis over here.
That's really nice. And of
Traffic and sports, 5 past the hour here on Schmoes.
Well, that's right. Coming up, and the Twins win the World Series. Oh,
we want them to stay tuned in, right?
I apologize.
Turn it off.
I apologize. And of course, that voice of reason comes from Catherine Reitman, our co-host.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Lovely, talented, right on time as usual.
Yes,
Stop
she
it.
was.
How
She
many
was.
times do I have to deal with this?
So you're right on time. I didn't
It's going
complain
to be
anything.
gone for quite a long time. For
Yes,
as long as you're
agreed,
with us.
agreed.
Okay.
Here at the Schmoes, we run jokes into the ground.
Yes. We have had a lot of really cool episodes so far.
A lot of diverse episodes, you know? People from all sorts of moviedom, from all corners of the movie planet, if you will.
All sorts of ethnicities.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. No.
Yes, we have. And we also try to...
Equal opportunity.
What we always try to do here is whether it's someone who's in the business or someone who loves movies. And today, our guest is actually someone of both. Okay, Shotgun Honeymoon. Eric Melgren is our guest today. Okay, Shotgun Honeymoon.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
Now, Eric and I have known each other for a very long time, and it's really nice to have him in the studio because we're going to be talking about soundtracks and scores, some of our favorites of all time.
So exciting.
Oh,
Yeah, what's your Eric? Do you have a favorite soundtrack or score?
not just one.
Joe,
I mean,
if
you
you
know,
first one that comes on top of your head.
Stand By Me. It's a great
Oh,
one.
yeah.
That is a great one. That is a great one. See, that's,
No.
yeah, that's a great soundtrack, and that's some of the stuff.
Do you want me to perform with you in your band? I'm
Please
available.
do.
That's it.
Please
Oh,
do.
and see, spoiler time. Catherine just gave you a spoiler. Also, another thing. There's a great video on YouTube right now. Okay, and it's called Up to Something, and that's by Shotgun Honeymoon. And the video is so cool. It's directed by Nick Tran.
Yeah.
And it's like you watch this video and the way that it's shot. It's got a very cinematic thing to it. And I had first, Eric had sent this to me, and I watched it, and I was blown away by it. And and Shotgun Honeymoon is going to come in now, and they're going to play the actual song for us live on the podcast.
No way.
Hey,
Yeah.
Schmoes Know first, we're actually having live music on the podcast, and I'm disappointed it's not by me and my rap group, but, that'll be a dream for another day.
It'll be a nightmare.
We can
for
all
others.
wait. We'll all not hold our breath.
So, right, what we're going to do, just to start and give everybody a treat right away, we're going to have Shotgun Honeymoon perform their song.
And brownies?
Yeah.
And brownies. And we're going to be watching, we're going to be listening, we're going to be loving. And guys, please enjoy Shotgun Honeymoon, Up to Something.
Thanks, Christian. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Here you go, guys.
This is a Schmoes debut right here. Live music on the Schmoes
That's
podcast.
right.
It is not my Van Halen cover band. It is Shotgun Honeymoon. Take it away, boys.
My shirt is coming off, and go.
And I think that they're up to something, and I think that they're up to something, and I think that they're up to something, and I think that they're up to something. I gotta tell you this once, then I'll have to tell you again. They got something up their sleeves under that shady grid. And I think that they're up to something. 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 Make them think you are weak when you are that strong. Keep your spade where I told you, in your pocket till dawn. If I gotta tell you this once, then I'll have to tell you again. They got something up their sleeves under that shady coat. And I think that they're up to something. 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 Hey!
Oh shit! Yeah, I'll tell you. Mark Ellis is not gay, but if he was,
Good-looking boys playing that music, my friend.
that was awesome, guys. Thank you so much for that. I mean, if you guys have not seen that video and the song itself is catchy, and the video, I wanted to talk to
Let's
Shock
talk
and
about the
Honeymoon
live performance
about
it. I mean,
let's talk about it.
What they just did, and a couple things that I'm grateful for right off the bat is that they let us participate at the end with the shouting. That kind of felt like a mix of, in the Beach Boys song Barbara Ann, when it just sounds like a bunch of drunk people in the studio. Yeah, and there's a woman that just walks in just screaming. She doesn't know what she's there. It felt like a mix between that and when they're all under in the cabin on the Orca. Right before Jaws attacks,
right.
And they're just singing sea shanties and having a good time. We're like 3 quarts of gin away from and a shark from recreating that scene.
It's one of those songs where I feel like I want to walk around on the street with that in my head, because I do feel like I'm up to something when I listen to that song.
I hope you do.
I really am.
Yeah.
It's the truth. Well, that was the thing.
What a player he is. I was going off about Jaws and about Barbara Ann. Didn't look at me. Didn't look twice at me. Catherine says one thing. He's like, oh, yeah.
I'm totally game on, by the way.
Your
game works perfectly with me.
It flashes the pearly whites, and we're going to leave. We're going to leave. But no, a couple of things I want to talk to with Shotgun about is
a lot of things. We have a whole hour with him, Chris.
Yeah, we do. But one of is the video itself and the music. First of all, the song. How did you come up with the song? What was the inspiration?
What are they up to? What's happening?
Yeah, exactly.
I actually came up with the song through actually a mutual friend of ours.
Okay.
A friend of mine, Tom, was just we were hanging out and
Tom will be on the podcast very soon.
I'm sure he'll be on.
Great Tom Daniel.
Yeah, and he just kind of turned to me, and we were in an interesting situation. He was like, "I think these guys are up to something," and I was like,
it's such a great phrase.
Yeah, I was like, I think you got a point, and. I kind of took that and I kind of ran with it, and I kind of came up with my own little sort of scenario, and I always had that idea of that video in my head, like a bunch of sketchy dudes playing some poker.
And they're not just sketchy dudes; these guys are awesome. Like the video, it has like these 4 guys. You don't know what they're up to, right? So they're
up to something.
They're up to something.
Generally, when you say up to something, it's not good. You're not like building a children's hospital when you're up to something. There's some sort of mischief going on.
Yeah, and let me just tell you that there's an axe involved. There's a bunny mask. There's a bomb. There's poison. There's a lot of stuff going on.
It sounds like my show a little bit.
It sounds like Ellis's Saturday night.
That's all in there.
But yeah, so I mean, but it was really creative, and it's very cinematic. I mean, it is. It's like you almost want to see a movie about these.
Well,
guys.
yeah. Well, so saying that is that's kind of when we finished it. I was so kind of proud and happy the way that it came out, because I mean, I don't know how often people's ideas actually get done the way that they
not often,
conceptualize it. And so when that came about, what my goal is now is to make sort of I really don't know what to call it, but it would kind of be I have 5 more songs that I'm going to do videos on, and
with all the same characters.
Yeah, each character is going to have their own song,
cool. Oh, I
and
love
so
that.
that's why I have up to something. It says Volume 6, the game, because that's actually
the finale.
6th. That's the 6th volume of this series. And
No, it's like a George Lucas thing. We're gonna have some prequels here. We're gonna have. Hopefully, the prequels are good.
Oh, I'm
And
not a
there's-
Star Wars fan. Were
Can
you
we-
kidding me?
Can we get through one of these podcasts without bringing up Star Wars?
No.
Worth a try. Worth a
Who
try.
is this crazy woman, and how did she
God.
get here?
I know. She's new.
Game over.
But yeah, I mean, so okay, so you're gonna do the prequels.
Yeah.
And so when do you have an estimate of when you're going to be working on the next one?
Oh, I mean, we're actually currently working on
Filming it?
Not filming.
Okay.
Well, I would say in production.
Okay. Right, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, a video
Totally.
is not really in production, but
well, sure it is.
but
yeah.
but because we knocked out the last video in a day, so we're hoping to be able to knock out 2 more videos in a weekend, and then have those probably by the beginning of next year, and then knock the other ones out, in the spring. And then Rob and I, who's my drummer, who was who played acoustically with me.
And by the way, for those who can't see him, he
yeah.
was literally just knocking on this amazing little wooden box.
Yeah,
And
that wasn't Harloff hitting on my head. That was an actual instrument playing.
It sounds so cool.
Incredible rhythm, by the way. I actually I didn't know if I should be bobbing my head or snapping my fingers to the music, because I and my family.
Grateful that you didn't do either.
I don't have good rhythm. I'm like Steve Martin in The Jerk. I simply cannot keep a beat for that long, and I don't want to throw off the performers.
No, what I liked also about it that I didn't
Throw us off, Mark.
I didn't see it enough. I didn't see it in the video, and it's when Rob kind of is talking to you during when you're doing you're saying some of your lyrics, and he's like, say it again, and it's just like you can tell the rhythm that you're in. It was really cool.
So cool.
Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of the idea behind it is I think for we have these 5 songs that are just getting mastered right now, a 5-song EP that'll be coming out towards the end of the year, and I think what I want to do with this new material is sort of build like a story around it, really. And that's what's been coming together, and that's what I've sort of put together. Right. So this first video is just the middle section of what's hopefully to come if we can, go
That's
ahead
really
and get
cool.
through with
It's
it.
made it such a cool style too.
Yeah.
Yes.
What did you have a videos in mind? Like when you were going to whoever's shooting it, were you like, hey, I wanted to base it off of something like this, or I want it to look like this video that's
right? Or did Nick come up with something as well?
Yeah,
too?
it reminded me a little bit of the Beastie Boys video for Sabotage.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people might draw that comparison.
Yeah, they draw the comparison because of the
trailer,
the dress of the characters.
Okay.
In fact, that there are like these pseudo characters that look kind of wacky, and they have different outfits on and masks and all that other kind of stuff. But I had the idea of I wanted to get my talented friends involved, because I have a lot of talented friends, and I wanted to get them involved, and I thought that this song just suited a poker game. And just a bunch of dudes sitting around, and everybody, and it's just an easy way to encompass the song, because if you say they're up to something, well, everybody could be up to something, as opposed to if I did a video just on me and myself, I would what's going on there. So I kind of I just kind of wanted to make it like what's going on here, and I brought that to Nick, and Nick helped come up with of the smaller details that I'm not really big on coming up with.
Yeah.
I'm not, he, brought the bunny head into the mix, and he brought a lot of the outfits for El Generalissimo. And
you're lucky you
for
called the
Sweet
guy
Nectar
who had a bunny head.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I got a bunny head. We can start there.
He actually didn't have it, though. I know the inside story in this one. The guy who played the bunny head was, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, he was told that they wanted to do like some kind. He didn't want to show his face. The actor
didn't want to. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't know if he wants his name. You know what? I'll just call him Perm.
That's
How's
fine.
that?
I'll call him Perm. Big Perm.
Yeah, so he didn't want his face to be shown on screen, and he wanted to wear a hockey mask, but it just didn't look very flattering on film, the hockey mask. And so...
Is he being psychologically evaluated? Because generally when people want to walk around wearing hockey masks, they are serial killers.
Well, I think he wants to be a serial killer.
He's at
in his
Coffee
next
Bean
life.
wearing it right now.
Yeah, but so then Nick was like, hey, well, what if we do like this thing? And I was like, that could be cool, if you can come up with it. And he came up with it, and it came through, and it was fantastic.
It's really cool.
It really, really added to Snake's character, and
The song also has a great energy for being in a film.
Yeah,
well, that's
a great point and a great segue too, because that was one of the things. Thank you. One of the things that we want, the main thing that we're here for as well today is to talk about soundtracks and scores, and that song definitely should be in a video or a television. Video in a television show or a film. What's going on with the song and the video right now? Have you just been posting it?
I've just been posting it. We just got done with the video. The song's done, but we're going to release, that's the first single off of our EP. Cool. Is Up to Something. And, we're just going to push it like you would push anything else,
right.
Really.
Catherine's right. It should definitely be in like a movie or something.
Well, you know what it actually reminds me of?
I'd love for it to be. Thank you.
Yeah, we're all in agreement on that. If you're familiar with Sad Brad?
I'm not, but I like the name.
He did a song called "Help Yourself," which ended up being in "Up in the Air."
Yeah.
Oh, great movie.
Great movie, and it's got a similar sort of quality where it's really about the voice and of course the instrumental.
That's Kevin Bacon again, right? Up in the Air.
Up in the Air.
Up in the Air is a movie about airplanes. That's all I took away from that film.
Airplane's a great movie.
Airplane's a great movie.
But it's it's like this new generation of artists who are making songs that almost the energy and mood is as instrumental as the music itself.
Yeah.
And you want that. You want to feel that in films. It adds another layer. It really brings the film up to another level.
I got to tell you that you hear that song and you feel it's like an action scene that's about to take place. Like everybody's kind of getting set. Like I was thinking like Desperado. When his two buddies who have like a bazooka and a guitar case, they get off the bus and there's about to be this epic shootout. Yeah. That they're up to something.
Yes,
there's something going on, Jerry.
And the great part about it too is that you do feel that way, and it's so lighthearted too. When it's you feel like a good energy. Kill each other. All right.
And I got to tell you, man, the video, and I'm less biased than Christian.
I showed him last
because I was really, really blown away by the video. And I mean, we're buddies. We know each other. We
run into each other at the gym.
I used to we go to 24 Hour Fitness. I used to go to, when you and Christian were neighbors, I used to go to your holiday parties, and I would limp away from there.
Which is happening again.
Oh, really? Oh, December 10th.
I'll be there. Thank you for the invitation. I'll be there.
But
20,000 people are going to show up.
Yeah. Christian and I hope we have a band playing there.
We're up to something, man. The schmoes.com.
Christian always does this to me. We're done working for the day, and as much as we try to hide it, we do work hard, and we're always done for work. And then he's like, "Oh wait, I just got to show you these 3 online videos really quick." And I'm like, "Dude, I just want to go home and sleep." And so, he makes me watch this music video, and I was so impressed. What I love about the video is the action going on, and then you guys are kind of like the Shakespearean chorus. Like you guys, like you guys are telling us what's going on, and then we're watching them, and then we come back to you guys, and you guys are kind of stabilizing what's happening.
But Eric is also he's the mediator of the card game as well,
the magistrate,
and that's you're able to use that top hat. I love it. I love that you brought the top hat in there.
That's one of my favorite hats.
And I will be wearing that very top hat at the Christmas party. December 10th.
You just lost your invitation.
So let's talk about some of. Because we know you were inspired by a bunch of stuff too. I know that music really is a big part of your life.
Yeah.
So I know you're a great guest to have on today to talk about soundtracks and scores and some of your favorite composers, some of your favorite soundtracks, and Mark and I before we were talking about some of our composers. We'll start with them.
So we're doing scores before soundtrack.
I think we can start with it, but like if something comes up and someone brings up something that they want to talk about, fine. But I think we start with composers and score first because there's so many
very
good
organized,
ones out
very
there.
organized.
It's not,
no rules, Harlock.
Welcome to the show, Reitman.
Jeez, that's why I have fun.
That's right. So let's talk about some of our favorite composers out there. Does anybody have one?
There's this new up and comer named John Williams. He's done a couple smaller projects.
Never heard of him.
Anytime somebody says score to me, there is nothing that even touches. And I am a big Star Wars fan, but there is nothing that touches Star Wars.
Here we go. I'm leaving.
That it encompasses. You have that great big bombastic opening, and then he can take it down a notch. It's like a great band that can rock out and hit a great ballad too, and just do everything in between. unreal how good that score is.
He's the best.
He's the best. And then, by the way, there's a movie called Jaws, Indiana Jones,
What?
E.T.,
I've never heard of
Jurassic Park. They're good little. They're like
Indie
after-school
movies,
specials.
tiny indie movies.
All right, so if we're going to go like guys who are established already, if we're going to go that route, then I'd like to go with Hans Zimmer.
Sure.
Because Hans Zimmer to me is the type of guy, when I listen to his music, there are just so many great scores.
Such as?
All right, you want to go, we can go with The Dark Knight. We can go
Beautiful.
with...
Beautiful. And haunting.
Yeah, Last Samurai, which is a great score. I mean, the guy is just... There's something about... It's like, yes, it's in a movie and you associate the scene with, the music, but you also can listen to that music and just kind of be inspired in general. That's the kind of music.
Thought-provoking music.
Yeah.
There's an Oscar-nominated guy, forgive me, I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he recently did The Thing. He did the score for The Thing, the most recent
old one or the... Oh, okay.
2011, the prequel, excuse me.
Sorry.
And it's all right. And it was so distracting to me that it actually took me out of the film.
That's right. I saw you reviewing that. That's a really...
And this hurts my feelings, actually. And recently also, Leonardo DiCaprio... mind-bending.
Don't you dare say that's Hans Zimmer. Inception.
Okay, well, I found that very distracting. Took me right out of the film. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm staying. I'm staying. I'm going to say my point.
Get out of here.
Arnold, leave me alone.
Harassing women left and right. Again.
When you get... listen.
A talented guy, no doubt, but there has to be a level of adding to the film and not taking me out of the story.
Oh, we're going to be here for a while.
You guys are. I'm taking off.
Listen,
I'm getting a ride with Shotgun Honeymoon out of here. We're going to
out of
Vegas.
here.
Hans Zimmer's score in Inception is one of the best scores.
I'm up to something.
I disagree.
When he's sitting on that plane at the very end, and that piece of music called "Time" comes on, that is such a great piece. That just it's like everything's done. He's back. It's back in motion. It just sets the mood.
But this is also just a point of view thing, because when you hear a score, you want to see a movie, you don't mind being taken out of it and seeing it as an addition. It's like, for instance, have you ever seen a piece of wardrobe or even a piece of screenplay where you get taken out of the scene and you go, interesting.
This is like Roe versus Wade right now.
Well, I mean,
you take it easy and stay with me here, because my point is that I don't like anything, including a person sitting next to me in the theater, taking me out of the moment. And music can absolutely do that. It can
I don't disagree with you there.
The
It can
score
make it
should
emotional.
elevate the action on screen, not take you out of it. The name of the
100%
piece in question is
agree.
called Time, and that's what's a wasting, kids. Let's hit.
You know what
How
score
about?
I loved? Go. Just take it.
Well, no, I want to hear.
Yeah, well, how I feel about scores is if I can listen to a score like on a CD and not watch the movie, then I feel like that's it. And,
that's a great point.
And for me, Braveheart
Great one.
when James Horner, like from way. I mean, I would just put that on if I just needed to zen out, go to sleep, whatever. And he also did a small movie, Titanic. Yeah, the really small movie.
Your heart did go on. I have a friend a guy friend, no names needed, who would not have sex with his girlfriend unless the Braveheart soundtrack was on.
You know what? That's a good move.
Screaming freedom.
Why is that a good move?
Yeah, did he paint his face blue before the?
You respect
that would be a bad move.
If I've seen him at the gym with his face painted blue.
Can you imagine this poor girl though? She's like, oh my god, like it's just a blood.
Track 17.
Only way he climaxes.
Right. James Horner is fantastic. He's done so many great scores over the year too, and those are the established guys. Zimmer.
I would also throw Danny Elfman is cool because it's such a recognizable style, like that Beetlejuice and something like that. You can
everything he does with Tim Burton is just brilliant.
Yeah, and that's the one thing everybody talks about how great the new Batman movies are, and they are the best Batman movies I've ever seen. They're better than the Tim Burton ones, but Danny Elfman's score for the first Batman, that opening theme, I think that's my favorite.
Zimmer shit party. I'm going to upset
I like Hans
Danny
Zimmer.
Elfman also though is a great example of giving to it and just like elevating it without distracting him.
Yes, and I think that's also because him and Burton have that relationship that he knows Burton's style and the way that he's going.
It matches so beautifully.
But that's why I'm curious to see how Elfman's going to do. And Elfman's done tons of stuff without Burton, of course.
Boingo.
He's doing
bingo.
Yep.
He is doing the score for the Hunger Games, which comes out in March.
Oh,
yeah,
that's magic. That's magic.
That could be a lot of fun. And Gary Ross is directing. So I wonder.
Interesting.
I wonder if Elfman ever did. Who did Seabiscuit? Who did the score for that? I'm curious. Who did the score for
that? Was a
Seabiscuit?
movie about a horse. Does that help?
No,
That is helpful. That's very
The horse
helpful.
did not do the music, but we'll find that
While
out.
we're on establishment, but one more that I want to throw out there too is Jerry Goldsmith, who did the score
Great.
for
Rudy.
Rudy. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That's
Great
another one
score.
that you can put on Rudy and just listen to it, and you feel what Rudy feels in that moment. You either feel like you just got into Notre Dame, or you're getting your head kicked in on the practice field. It's a beautiful, beautiful score.
I have an inside scoop here
On Rudy?
on Jerry Goldsmith.
The late Jerry Goldsmith.
With
Yeah.
all respect to him, his son Aaron Goldsmith was my first kiss. You guys.
Whoa.
Did you play the Rudy music?
No, but it was underneath mistletoe. It was like fourth grade. It wasn't like a real
Fourth
kiss.
grade?
Well, it
Wow.
wasn't. There was no tongue. You know?
Well,
Were
no,
you the one
no.
Naveed was telling the story about?
Big whore.
Aaron Goldsmith was in fourth grade. She was like 18. She was
24. It was last year.
It was 10 minutes ago.
And directly after the kiss, he asked if we could just be friends and not do that again. True story.
That kid learns quick.
That's
My
right.
goodness.
I mean, again, you have so many great ones out there. If you want to go Bill Conti, old school, you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Hey,
Alan
have you,
Silvestri.
by any chance, have you guys seen that new movie Drive?
Yes.
Drive's a
Cliff
great-
Martinez, who
Cliff
did
Martinez.
That's a great example.
You're talking to the schmoes, kid. We see it
Yeah,
every
I know.
movie.
Yeah. So
Easy,
I
Alice.
forgot where I was for a minute. So
That's right.
yeah, I mean, when I watched that movie, the score it blew me away.
Especially with all the stillness and lack of dialogue. When you get the music coming in like that, it's like, holy moly.
You know what's
Thank
cool about
goodness
that?
there's
awesome.
noise in this picture.
Well, Martinez's score was cool in that one too because it was very retro, very old school, like 80s.
80s,
the way that
yeah.
they did it, and it was like you remember Scarface, like the way
Totally.
it brought me back to Scarface, like the way. I mean, it was a lot more structured than the score was in that one because they just in Scarface they just played the same song over and over again, like,
Right.
Push it to the limit, but like, but in,
Great rendition. By
But thank
that
you.
human song? How does it go?
Which one?
That was in Drive. There's something
Right,
about.
but the way that they did it and they set it up was so. I mean, the music was great.
You know what
So
I'm talking
yeah, I mean, that's. But and I guess and Shotgun brings up a good point too. Those are the newer guys, like Cliff Martinez and a guy that I like. I hate the Transformers movies. I'm not a big fan of the movies.
Because you're sane.
Yeah, Steve Jablonsky, who is another the score for the Transformers. If you listen to the music itself, forgetting what movies they're from, phenomenal.
Did
Yeah,
you notice
pretty cool.
the score in the movie? Because like I keep going back to Transformers 3 in that last 45
The
minutes where
trailer.
it's just crap blown up everywhere, and I don't remember hearing music. I just remember my ears bleeding from all these
you were
stupid robots.
done.
Is it the
exploding.
You were
score
checked
from
out.
the trailer in Transformers 3?
I don't think so.
It's like the dun dun.
No. This is like
Very industrial.
I
really-
didn't check out of the movie, but it's it's hard to remember the score from that movie because there's so much sound coming at you.
I
Because
know.
there's just so much story, so much
That's
thick
the
story.
way, and I probably
much
would have been the
emotion.
same way,
Yeah.
but like I'm an MMA fan, right? And there was a video that was sent to me about this particular fighter, and they did like this tribute video to him, and they had that score on there, and I was like, this is great. What the hell is it? And it was like Steve Jablonsky, Transformers. I'm like, I've seen Transformers. I don't remember this shit. And then I listened to it again, and it's really good. He's done other stuff. He worked a lot with he's worked on video games, but he worked a lot with Michael Bay, unfortunately. But yeah, he's great. And then another up and coming guy is Michael Giacchino, I believe is how it's pronounced, who did Lost. He also did Up.
Oh, cool.
He did the new Star Trek score. I mean, he's really great. So those are some guys. there.
Harloff's
Very, very
the guy
talented.
that whenever he picks me up to go somewhere, he's blasting the Transformers score.
Not just Transformers.
Or
I
it's
have a
usually
bunch-
Transformers.
Not just the Avatar score is great too.
The
That's
Avatar
James
score-
Horner.
You know,
James
there's
Horner,
an
yeah.
old one that really I
good.
used to listen to when I used to do my
Yeah,
homework.
it's
The Benny and June score. I know
Well,
this is like
I mean,
old.
yeah.
That's
I know
score or
it's an old
soundtrack.
school. Well, both Proclaimers.
Okay.
Hello,
Both,
but the
yeah,
score.
I mean, right.
I
come
would
on.
walk 500 miles.
For me, I know.
And I
We've
would
had a
be
moment.
his creepy Netherlands brother wherever they were from, and I would walk the other 500
And
miles.
you would get up.
Yeah.
That's right. There are.
I know I'm going to be.
But the score even from that
I'm
film,
gonna
and
be
I won't ignore the
somebody-
segue here into
Oh,
the
no,
songs.
that's good.
You.
But the score itself is really special.
There's a lot of good mixes like that. Sometimes where they do, like Forrest Gump was another one that did that.
Totally.
Forrest Gump had a great soundtrack, and then Alan Silvestri's like theme music.
Alan
was
Silvestri,
fantastic.
and then it's
did Rocky
pretty much
also.
a trip
No, he
through
didn't. No, he didn't.
the history of American music in Forrest Gump, and that's why it's so cool too.
Yes.
Because that was a double CD, I believe. The Forrest
Oh,
Gump
sure
soundtrack.
was.
We all
And-
owned it. Let's not lie about that.
Everybody
Oh, yeah.
did, of
We
course.
all had it.
But Alan Silvestri, what's so funny is that shows you how diverse these guys are and what they can do. They can do a movie like Forrest Gump, which you have that lighthearted moment and you have that theme with him, and he also did the theme for Predator.
Right.
with Stallone with Schwarzenegger in '87. That's right, and it's again showing you how good he is and how memorable. So I mean, but again, going back to let's say
Without Sylvester, you can either sit on a bench and eat chocolates with him, or you get in a helicopter with Jesse the Body Ventura. Either way, the guy's ready to go. He's up to something.
Do you have
Shotgun
any?
Honeymoon.
Thanks, Mark.
I'm going to call that back 19
That's
times.
right. Do you have any soundtracks that you like? Again, I know maybe like Pulp Fiction. I know you were.
Well, yeah, big fan. I mean, Pulp Fiction soundtrack is.
It's a great one.
Yeah, I mean, the movie, the soundtrack, everything. It's a complete movie for me. There's the Big Chill.
That's a good one too.
Stand By Me's. I mean, even Wedding Singer.
Wedding Singer is
Yes,
awesome. That is a
totally.
great. Now that one, that goes back to Eric and
so
I,
good.
like, because we went to college together, and
I'm
that
seeing things are unfolding.
yes, and
We always
learning.
have Harlow friends on the podcast.
The light bulb just
I
went on
never
over
think
because
that.
my stuffed animals don't talk that much.
Mark doesn't know anybody. It's like a married couple. All his friends are my friends. Now the thing is that that soundtrack will be playing often. That and you know what another one that we were playing often in college was Grosse Point Blank.
Really?
Oh
Good-
yeah.
good
You guys
soundtrack.
must have gotten laid
that
a
one.
ton.
Soundtrack.
Well, but one of
not
my
at
favorite
all.
soundtracks is
Titanic, probably.
Yes, I was listening to Celine Dion crying, knowing that I'd have to be talking to you guys here. No, but it was Garden State.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's
sure.
a great one with, of course, our friend Bonnie Somerville sings on that one.
I'd say stronger than the film, and I know that doesn't make me
The soundtrack?
popular.
No,
Sure.
yeah, I think it made the film, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it
Right.
did.
I didn't enjoy the film, but I loved the sound.
I hated the ending. I liked the film.
It was like a long beer commercial for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue. with that.
I kept looking forward to the next
Song.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
totally.
Introducing the Shins.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right. That's
where the first time
right.
I ever heard of them.
Well,
A song-
you bring up a good one that is like if you're talking about soundtracks that inspired you as a youth, you know, that got you kind of into this is music that is adding to a movie.
Yes.
I would have to go with the Young Guns 2.
Do you know what I was about to say that?
I was just listening to that
Blaze
like
of
the other
Glory.
time.
Yeah, but
I
everybody,
was about to tell this one.
It's brilliant.
We're driving over here, and Bon Jovi's "Wanted Dead or Alive" comes, and Christian's like, "Oh, you know, this is another good one." And I knew he was going to make that mistake. Everybody thinks that "Wanted Dead or Alive" is on the Young Guns 2
sure is
soundtrack,
not.
Sure
and
is.
it sure isn't.
No,
That is
Blaze
on
of Glory.
Yeah,
the
that's-
epic
that's what I
"Slippery
confused.
When Wet" album is what "Wanted Dead or Alive" is on, and then Bon Jovi. It's not the band Bon Jovi; it's just John Bon Jovi by
It's just
himself.
John
Yeah.
Bon. It's just John Von Bon.
I think Richie Sambora like hung out and played the spoons in one
Right.
song, but that was it. And it's an entire album. It's not just Blaze of Glory. There's a song "Miracle," Santa Fe.
It's just so
Blood
good.
Money.
It's just so good.
And
Yeah.
it's so you can listen to that and get the whole vibe of Young Guns. And by the way,
Yeah.
Young Guns 2, one of my favorite
One of
lines of all
favorite
time.
notes.
Yoo-hoo,
Yeah.
I'll make you famous.
I'll
make you
so
famous.
good. Yeah, so that's the one for me. And then also, you just pick like a rock, like a movie that had a lot of rock in it. Last Action Hero had a lot of like cool classic rock, and Encino Man had a lot of cool like Encino
How about
Man.
Vision Quest?
Vision Quest. You know what? I've never seen the whole movie Vision Quest,
kidding me.
and I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because the opening credits of Vision Quest is Matthew Modine training in the morning, running all over the town, listening to Journey's "Only the Young," and so I can't make it through that sequence without going on a run myself.
So motivating.
Yeah, but to be fair, "Only the Young" is probably the only song on the soundtrack. They play it 7 to 8 times. throughout the whole
Really?
movie. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
That movie is like the Deep to me because I've seen the beginning of the Deep with Jacqueline Bisset in the white T-shirt swimming around. I've seen that opening 200 times. Never made it past that.
Well, it does have-
I got what I needed from the film.
It does have a very young Hydrangeas in it. And of course, I'm talking about Madonna when she was like 23 or 24. And
Really?
Yeah, she sings when Matthew Modine and what's her name? Oh shit!
It's
Killing me. Laura Fiorentino.
Linda Fiorentino, yeah.
When he's hitting on her in the bar and they're talking, and then Madonna's in the back singing, and like she's like a bar singer.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
it's like Dick Tracy style.
Well, even way
I was
before it's
thinking the
right.
same
Dick
thing.
Tracy,
Yeah. Dick Tracy's
Or
another
for
one
the
too.
ladies out there, how about a little Roxette, Pretty Woman soundtrack?
Great soundtrack. Yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
one too.
very-
Must have been love.
Is that the one
Yeah,
from
that
your
came on-
youth?
That was funny. That song came on not too long ago, and I went, "Pretty Woman." My wife goes, "How do you remember that?" I go, "I'm an idiot, savant."
And then you made love passionately, probably if the song was on.
Now, Braveheart was not on that night.
Now there's also like just good moments in movies where it's like where the music makes that scene. And for me, the one that it still gives me chills, and we talked about Alan Silvestri's Back to the Future score, but when Marty McFly
we didn't
launches, somebody mentioned Back to the Future. When Marty McFly launches into Johnny Be Good at the end, I still get chills when it's a basic blues riff in B. Watch the changes in the second set and try to keep up,
sick.
and then he just launches into it, and he's doing his Eddie Van Halen impression, playing Johnny Be Good, and by the end, the crowd is just staring at him. They don't know what they just saw. It's so that's one of my favorite scenes in movie history.
That's great. Well, listen to this. That's a great one, and that's another one of an example where score and soundtrack, are both really memorable for sure.
You know my question about that scene always is because the thing is Marvin Berry was in that band, right? And so he calls his cousin Chuck to give Chuck this song. Chuck. But you're Marvin Berry, you're playing in a cover band at a kid's dance. Why don't you take the song, man? Do you not want to do anything with your music career? You discovered it.
He knows he couldn't pull it off.
He knows he's not Chuck.
Because
there's only one Chuck Berry.
That's
Happy
right.
86th birthday, Chuck Berry.
Say, way to watch PTI.
There we go.
Okay, so those are a few soundtrack scores. It just going with what Catherine said before too. Music is so important. I've had this argument with people in the fact that you can. Some people are like, oh, it doesn't really matter what music's in there. Sometimes you could just put any kind of song in there depending on what the rhythm of the scene is. And I don't agree with that at all. I think that it really
elevate
it has to set the mood, and it's like a really good score is one of those scores where you don't even kind of realize that it's there. It's part of the scene.
Right.
Yeah, and you hate to go back to Star Wars, but when they're shooting down the Death Star trench at the end, about to shoot the proton torpedoes,
I can't see them.
If there's no music in there, your pulse just is not racing as much.
I'll tell you whose pulse is not racing at all. This girl.
Catherine Reitman.
You know who's another good up and coming one is Craig Armstrong. And Craig Armstrong did the World Trade Center. With the Oliver Stone movie, he did the theme for that, which is, if you watch that trailer,
is it solid?
Oh, it's moving. But he also did the score for The Incredible Hulk, the latest one with Ed Norton.
Yeah.
Really good one as well. So, I mean, there are really a lot of guys out there that are fantastic. Yeah,
a lot of talent.
And we're actually going to bring in, for you guys, our listeners out there who are familiar with Chris Stuckman, Chris Stuckman will be calling in a little while, and we're going to actually talk to him because he's again, Rain Man when it comes to scores and soundtracks. So
he's been down in the basement drinking coffee for the last 6 hours.
Yeah, he's going to Skype in a second. But
if he brings up Star Wars, I will leave.
Stuckman is going to bring up Indiana Jones.
He'll probably bring up Indiana Jones. I guarantee. Does anybody want to do? Yeah, who wants to bet the first one that he brings up? You say Indiana Jones?
I say it's got to be Indiana Jones. Yeah.
All right, just to be different, I'll say that he brings up Drive.
Beautiful.
What do you think?
I'll tell you what. I'm going to say just for fun that he doesn't bring up Indiana Jones.
Wow.
And let's put a little bit of money in this to make it interesting.
That's money? Okay. Let's do a lunch.
Big fan of cash. All right.
We'll do a lunch. We'll do a lunch next time.
A steak dinner?
No, steak dinner.
See you at Mastro's.
Yeah,
Call him in.
We don't have sponsors yet.
I owe Harloff 3 steak dinners for various transgressions against the Harloff family that I've committed.
That's right. That's true. So... Let's see. Are there anything else?
I think another important kind of roundtable discussion to have is an emotional score. One that every time it comes on, it'll bring tears to your eye. It'll move you in some way. And I got to go with The Lion King. I think that the combination of the score and Elton John's song, Elton knows what he's doing. By the middle of that movie, Elton knows it every time he starts playing the piano and singing. He knows he's making you cry.
I don't know.
And he enjoys it.
It's kind of comparable to Braveheart, but Gladiator.
Gladiator's a great one too.
It's
another Hans Zimmer motherfucker.
Wow.
I take it sleazy.
But yeah,
Gladiator. I mean, it's pretty comparable to Braveheart, but by the end of that movie,
that's a great score, and I'm going to go soundtrack, and I'm not going to go crying, but I'm going to say emotional. Always kind of pumps me up every track I hear on it, and that would be Dazed and Confused.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that, but that soundtrack's brilliant.
Any song that comes on, not only does it bring you to the scene in the movie, it brings you to a moment where you've been like, oh, I remember listening to this song. I remember that. Oh,
and I know this is such in poor taste, or maybe in great taste to bring up one of my father's movies, but the Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack, I listened to every single track.
I guess they're gonna have to take control. Yeah,
everybody just died.
Oh, but song for song on that one, it makes me crazy.
Your dad leaped on it, though. He got Bobby Brown when he was hot.
Oh, listen, he's got a great nose. He will tell you himself that he might know more about music than movies. He was actually a music major in college. So he always, every time I get home, he'll be listening to some, new young hip hop artist or something,
smart, man.
and he'll always be like,
Yeah.
"You're dead nose, you're dead nose."
Well, how was
Wow.
No Strings Attached? How was the soundtrack in that? I don't remember it. I don't remember it being bad, but
No, it was good. There was actually one sort of Mumford and Sons-esque band in there. I feel bad I can't remember the name of them. They were fantastic.
Okay.
And they're in one of the scenes. They're in the bar scene where like the song actually starts with their boots are like boom, boom,
right,
boom,
right,
like
right.
hitting the ground, and they start clapping. And then, anyway, it's got
How's
that
it go
sort
again?
of. You know what, you? I never claimed to be an artiste.
Well, what about and how do we forget about Kenny Loggins and anything that he did? Footloose, Top
God
Gun.
bless
I mean,
him.
come
God
on.
bless
That Top Gun soundtrack, man.
Playing with the
The and that Top Gun theme, the anthem, the guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Is
You
that
know,
Loggins too?
No. You know who the guitar player was Steve Stevens, who was Billy Idol's guitar player.
Wow, look at you.
Did the Top Gun anthem. Yeah.
Jeez, what about Tina Turner and Mad Max?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
See,
Beyond Thunderdome.
Beyond
There's
Thunderdome.
one.
Right,
There's
take
one
that,
or
Ike.
two. You mentioned Bon Jovi. You mentioned Tina Turner, of artists that kind of did a score for a movie.
Great hair on both those artists.
Now, even though that they were both great,
Are you going to say Bette Midler and Beaches because I'm one step
no,
ahead
I'm
of you?
not. I'm going to say they did not win the Oscar like Mr. Trent Reznor did for.
Oh yeah,
Social
Social Network.
God,
that was
gorgeous.
something else.
And-
that
Talk
about
that
moody.
score is just he's awesome.
And that's
Trent Reznor's.
yes, and that shows to be able to transition from like what to never scoring a film in your life.
Yeah.
and then not only
Boom.
scoring it.
Well, it's kind of
like
like
what Catherine said, setting you in that mood.
yeah.
and that's
You know who
Yes.
else did that is Eddie Vedder for Into the Wild.
Yeah, you're right. But he also,
Absolutely.
you're right. But he also did songs with lyrics and stuff in
Yeah,
there
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
This is
As
just score.
Trent was just
Right.
score the whole way through. But yeah,
It's so
absolutely.
beautiful.
And
It's really
Trent Reznor ain't just
goosebump-inducing.
he's not resting on his laurels here. He's doing the girl with the dragon tattoo, right?
Get to work,
He's
God.
doing
Right.
that
Get
one.
to work.
Yeah.
All right, so here's what we're going to do.
Lazy.
We're going to take.
And by the way, I also have to mention that Eddie and Alex Van Halen nominated for "Respect the Wind" for the Twister soundtrack. And then the other song they did, "Humans Being,"
Why do
broke
we
up the
let him
band with Sammy
join?
Hagar.
Is there a particular reason?
when he brings up Twister,
Yeah.
I don't know. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a
the
quick.
cow scene.
We're
He
never-
does have a
we're never
North
gonna
Dakota
take a break.
shirt on.
Yeah.
It's gotta
We're
know
gonna,
something.
we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get in touch with Mr. Chris Stuckman. We're going to bring him in, and I'm sure he's going to add tons of stuff that we probably forgot about.
Probably.
But if he doesn't bring anything, and stuff that we've talked about already, we're going to give him shit for it.
And lunch is on the line here, depending
That's
on what
right.
movie he brings up first.
Steak dinner.
If
Yeah.
Indiana Jones is not first, I'm going to eat such a big burger.
Now,
on
what's
both
yours
of you.
though? But what's yours? No, I said drive.
I don't know him like you guys
She took
do.
the
I'm new
field.
to
You
this.
took drive. I took Indy.
should know.
I do know him, but I don't know his musical taste.
We're going to take a break here on the Schmoes. We'll be right back.
All right, guys, we're back. It's the Schmoes Know podcast, and now we have a very, very special guest joining us. You guys know him. He is Chris Stuckman from youtube.com/Chris Stuckman. Hello, Chris. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. I'm so happy to be here in LA.
You are not in LA.
Yeah,
You're joining.
Chris, we got some bad news for you, but you're still in Ohio, buddy.
Yeah, you're still
You
still
are
there.
in your basement.
Just let me have my fantasies.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
How about these palm trees, Chris?
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah. You're sitting next to
Another
us.
pina colada, sir?
Chris, you are also joined by Shotgun Honeymoon, the band who you're gonna be lucky enough once we post this to hear their new song.
They're amazing.
Yeah, you should check out. I think I posted their video on our page. It's called "Up to Something." It's a great video.
And this is the first in two ways for the Schmoes, because this is the first live in studio band we've had.
Yeah.
And this is the first Skype call we've had.
Yes, it is.
And we have Colored Eyed right now for the Eddie Money tickets. Tell us your favorite film soundtrack of all time.
Oh yeah, wait, don't say that yet, Chris. Wait, hold on. So here
Alice,
we
relax.
put a little.
There's a wager on the line.
There's a
here,
little
Chris.
wager. We're
We
gonna-
have a three-way bet between me, Harloff, and Reitman as the
What
first
song-
movie
yeah.
you're going to say, hey, honey, can I just tell him the question? it's like me and Christian are like a feuding old couple of the Red Lobster. I'm trying to order the mahi.
Well, I don't want you to give him away anything,
It's
and then
the
you mess it
special
up.
this week.
I think I'll leave.
Chris, there is a
That's
three-way
all it
bet
took?
here on the Schmoes between what movie you're going to mention first when we say your favorite score in a film, and
Okay.
there is lunch or dinner depending on who you talk to. It's going to be at the Golden
But wait,
Corral.
it wasn't favorite. See, that's the thing. You fucked it up. Because of course, if he says favorite score, we know
Okay,
what he's going to say.
First of all, language.
I
Stuckman is a
apologize.
14-year-old
I
boy.
apologize.
He has not been
It's-
exposed to language like
It's
that.
what score he wants to talk about first. That
Yeah.
was the bet,
Okay.
not favorite of all
Okay.
time.
Okay.
All right. So, Chris, what score?
Wait a second. Ellis.
Yeah.
Ellis.
Yeah.
14.
Yeah. You have your fantasies of being in LA. I have mine, Stuckman. Let it go.
Let's not have fantasies about 14-year-old boys.
No, we like to call him Mark Changeling Ellis.
I'm a big Doogie Howser fan.
That's right. All right. So, Chris, what score would you like to bring up first here today on the Schmoes Know podcast?
Really think about it. Shoot from the
Now,
heart.
are you talking about
All-time
film
movies.
score in general.
Anything, yeah, film score, not soundtrack. Any score that you want to talk about first.
You have the floor.
You have the floor.
My favorite film score of all time.
See, no. But not of all time. That's
This
the whole
is the
point.
one. Okay, wait.
I know what he's going to say of all
Christian,
time.
This is what we're doing.
exhausting.
We just gave Chris Stuckman the floor to talk about whatever soundtrack he wants.
Fine.
Whatever film score he wants. Chris, go ahead.
I'll
Can we just let him answer?
I'll save my pick for favorite. I'll talk about one I really like that I think is underrated first.
Yes.
All right, what's that?
Okay, Harloff ruined the bet.
No, I didn't. Because he's getting all pissed off now. You got pissed off face. And I'll tell you, you have pissed off face all day because you set it up and that's why you're like, honey, went out at the Red Lobster because you fucking told the guy.
All right, Chris, just let him talk about music. My
You
God.
guys-
I'll
you
buy you guys lunch if you stop talking about this goddamn thing. Chris, you have the floor. What do you want to talk about, dude?
You guys are hilarious. Okay. Underrated score, Predator.
Ah, that's a good one.
Well done.
All right,
Well
I
done.
believe I just got lunch.
Yeah, well.
No, Ellis is so
everyone's
pissed off
pissed.
right
He
now.
You got a
It's not the
knuckle
time to bring it up.
sandwich is what you got.
You should
It's,
see
it's
it.
rude to talk about beating women.
I got completely U-boated by Harloff.
It's like when they told him that Jackie Chan was going to be Mr. Miyagi.
Well, Chris, you know what's great about the Predator score, at least for me, is not only Alan Silvestri's music, but they also have like some rock standards in there at the beginning.
Yes.
You know, and it's a good. We're talking about ones that are good mixes of score and like rock music or
Right.
whatever. So that's a great one to pick.
Yeah, we talked.
Yes.
We brought up Alan Silvestri.
Let the kid talk about Predator.
I want to tell him some of the ones that we
How
talked
did your voice
about.
You
get so
guys
high,
are
Mark?
out of control, both of you right
you can
now.
tell when he gets pissy. He's pissy right now.
Yeah, so are you. You're both in a mood.
Thank you, Catherine.
All right. So, Chris, go. Please finish on Predator.
There's an overload of estrogen over there.
Agreed.
Okay, Predator. The reason I like Predator so much is because I really love really loud scores, like Inception, boom, just loud music.
Ugh.
And Predator, the way Predator's score is it's such a simple score. It's very simple. There's lots of the main theme is that it's almost like a little, you can beatbox the main Predator score. But,
You can beatbox. I didn't know you had that kind of talent, my friend.
Thank you. But no, the reason I like it so much is because how much it fits in with the atmosphere of that whole film. Because that's one of my favorite films. It's like a guy film, a super testosterone movie. And the score is so reminiscent of that. It just fits so well when you're in the jungle. I have the score on my iTunes. I'll pop it in. I'll listen to it. And I'm there. Like, I'm just in that world. And it's so... Especially, my favorite moment is actually... the movie's like 30 years old. I'm going to spoil it.
You can spoiler alert.
yeah,
Spoiler alert, Arnold uses mud to his advantage. That's all we're going to tell you.
Spoiler alert. When Arnold is finally the last guy alive, he looks up, the Predator shoots his teammate. He's like, run! The girl runs off. Harloff, I'm sure, wants to do his impression right now, but I'm not going
He
to
already
let him.
has. Don't encourage him.
Okay, but no, Arnold turns over and starts crawling, and the score is so loud at that moment. And
Yeah.
if you look it up at some point, that song, I think it's called Billy is Disarmed or something like that. But shut up, I'm a score nerd.
That's all right. No, so are we.
Okay, great.
But no, that is a good point because scores have the worst titles of all
It's true.
time.
That's
They do.
absolutely right.
Yeah, because it's just literally named off whatever scene it is too.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
So
She orders the cherry pie.
It feels like some intern labeled it like, oh, this is what happens in the scene. I don't want to mess anything up.
right.
Right.
It's true. I don't even look at score titles before I see the movie because sometimes it's like the death of blank.
You
I'm
know,
like,
Right.
that's a great point. When
Spoiler
I bought
titles.
the Star Wars Phantom Menace soundtrack a week before the movie came out, and Qui-Gon, there's a title called
Death, yeah.
Qui-Gon's Death,
Yeah.
and I looked at it and I'm like, oh shit, I don't want to know anymore.
Yeah. That same thing
They
happened.
should have had a score named Jar Jar is Annoying, and then I would have known more
Right.
about the movie.
It's the truth. So we talked about a whole bunch of things before too. We talked about Braveheart. We talked about Young Guns. There's so many different scores and soundtracks that we had brought up. And then we're trying to think of some other ones.
Well, Chris brought up a great point, which is also that sometimes there's certain scores that you listen to and it brings you directly back to the film. You're right in that environment. I don't know why anyone would ever want to be in the Predator jungle, but anyway.
Chris is in the woods right now.
He's in the woods, excuse me. But there are some soundtracks where I think I leave the theater and I'm like, that was amazing. I don't want anything to do with it because
Right.
I can't be brought back to that.
Like Requiem for a Dream.
Like Requiem for a Dream is a great example.
Right.
No one needs ass to ass. No one.
Well-
it's not healthy.
It depends on who you talk to.
Chris, what
Debatable.
score,
Debatable.
what soundtrack could you listen to, and it would kind of like not embarrassing, but you'd get emotional just listening to it because it brings you back to that. Is there anything like
Real
that?
quick, before he answers, same bet applies.
I don't.
E.T.
Okay.
Second lunch. 2 lunches for free.
E.T. Every
she
single
wasn't even
time
part of this
I
bet.
hear the final song of E.T., it's like 15 minutes long.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
The bike chase to when he says goodbye. That.
Chris, we're here. We're right here. You forgot that we're here.
Getting higher.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is that it's one of those things, and we all agreed that how much score and soundtrack is such a big part of movies, and
I don't
it's
think
like
we've even talked about the Jurassic Park score.
oh, it's a good one.
I brought it up with John Williams, but that's one of the best ones to run to.
Because you want to run from
Because
something.
you're running from a 30. How fast can T-Rexes go? 35 miles an hour. Ask Jeff Goldblum. He found out the
Raptors.
hard way.
Velociraptor.
Yeah.
Must go faster.
Yeah.
Must go faster.
That's right. And yeah, I mean, what was? Oh yeah, and then Eric had brought up before too. Avatar with James Horner is also a great score.
Yeah, really good.
So
You know what? You know what I really like about Jurassic Park is that movie is a creature movie, okay? And when Steven Spielberg pitched that to John Williams, I'm sure he said something along the lines of big adventure, dinosaurs eat people, really majestic. John Williams comes back with like one of the most touching, beautiful themes ever for
That's
like a
such a great
scary
point.
creature feature, you know?
right. Well, I
It's
mean,
true. It adds a whole depth to it because you all of a sudden feel the humanity of it.
now that's another question too. And Mark gives me shit about this too, but like and John Williams' score was fine for the prequels. They were fine, but they weren't as memorable as the original 3.
There wasn't that standout moment.
And the question is that because of the quality of the films?
That's yes, Stuckman. What's the only standout track of John Williams' score in the prequels is the Duel of the Fates. I think is a cool one.
It's a good one.
Duel of the Fates, Battle of the Heroes from Episode 3, I really liked.
It's a good one.
Do you think it's just because of the quality of the films wasn't as good as the first 3?
I think that when I look back and I listen to the original trilogy music, it reminds me of those great moments that I love. And when I listen to Duel of the Fates, I think, oh, Darth Maul, really cool. Darth Maul fight, nice, good job. I listen to Battle of the Heroes and think, oh, final lightsaber fight, cool. But when I listen to Across the Stars from Episode 2, what do I think of? I think of...
You think maybe you should get a life?
Stop it,
Catherine.
Stop it,
Catherine is a Star Wars hater. She's like one of those people.
I would
look at
like
the people
it-
camping out for Star Wars. I'm going to tell them their life
that's
sucks.
not true. That is not true. I like everything in moderation, you guys.
Hey,
Get her, Stuckman. Go ahead.
hey, Reitman,
Troll Hunter.
you interrupted me in the middle of my awesome joke.
Oh, hey, Chris, I'm sorry, but you were interrupted by Girl with Puppy number 2 in
Watch
Ghostbusters.
your
So,
mouth.
that's
Watch
a
your
big-time
mouth.
celebrity.
That's right. So
Please continue.
No, I was going to say, when I hear Across the Stars, all I think of is... I hate sand. It's coarse. It gets everywhere, and
oh
it's
god.
in all the cracks. And I truly, deeply love you. And
God.
that's
You're right. Your joke was much stronger than mine.
You know what?
Now these two are pissy at each other.
No, what's great about
it's in a
this
stuffy room.
is that now Stuckman and Reitman finally have like a full relationship,
Yeah.
and at the end, Stuckman can come out to L.A. and hold up a boombox out front of her apartment
I
and
can't
play
wait.
In Your Eyes by Peter
I
Gabriel.
can't wait. We're going to fall in love, you and I.
Yeah.
That's right.
Chris, why don't
No,
you
I
give us
saw
like
it.
your top 3 favorite scores or soundtracks of all time if you have those on record?
my top 3 favorites.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
had to pick 3 right off the bat.
E.T., Indiana Jones, Star Wars.
I think there's a running theme in there, and I think his name is John Williams, the greatest
I saw him
composer
live.
that ever lived.
What about Ben? I know you're a big Michael Jackson fan.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the one song
The
that's in
rat.
his soundtrack.
That's right.
Very good. I am a big MJ fan.
So, is there anything else before we close out?
How about 2011? How about like this year in movies?
let's-
Has there been a score that moved you for this year?
Well, let's go to Eric one more time. Go to Shotgun Honeymoon. Is there
We
any?
haven't even talked about Once, also. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Which one? Oh, right.
Once
That's a
had
good
a
one.
beautiful
It's a good one, too.
soundtrack.
But is there,
Oh yeah, that was a really good soundtrack.
Gorgeous.
Are there any
Well, I
others?
mean,
maybe something that you saw
just
this
recently,
year? Or-
Well, yeah, recently it was Drive. I mean, it
okay.
was when I saw that way. It was
dude.
like not
So
long
true.
ago, but the score was amazing.
Right.
You know, I mean, it made the film for me. I'm a sucker for '80s films, anyways.
Right.
But people said that the movie was slow, but the music really took me through it. And since I'm such a music lover, that I didn't mind,
Right, you could get through it as long.
Oh
as
yeah, and I thought the movie was actually great, and the music probably lended to that.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
What about Mark? Is there one that you want to say before we check out?
In 2011, well, I want to defer to Stuckman too because he was a big Drive guy, right?
Haha, you bet.
And that's Chris Stuckman.
I will say my favorite soundtrack so far this year was 50/50. The 50/50 was a great soundtrack.
Good one, yeah.
Michael Giacchino, great composer.
Yeah, he did. He composed that, but there was also the soundtrack that they used in that one as well. It was a mixture of Giacchino plus the songs were just really, really good. It was a great soundtrack.
Yeah, I think
about Drive, because Cliff Martinez. I know Catherine just wants to jump on me for knowing all these names.
No, I love it. Show off,
good.
get crazy.
Good. Cliff Martinez composed that film, but I think really, I really like his score. It added a lot to the movie. However, listening to his score is not terribly fun. It's just lots of symphonic noises. But the songs that were chosen by like Kavinsky, the Night Call song, the Real Hero song, Tick of the Clock by the Chromatics, which was the song that was playing over the opening chase, which I think everyone says is good. Like everyone loves that scene. But yeah, I agree with you. The Drive soundtrack is one of my favorites of the year. But actually, my favorite of the year so far is Super 8.
Oh,
soundtrack?
yeah.
Oh, it's a great call.
Who does that? Giacchino also?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it had a lot of great music from 1979. Dance the Night Away somehow left out, but it had a lot of other good songs that came out in 1979, like from the Knack and stuff like that. And Chris, you made a great point. I want to go back to when you said that it works in the film, but then when you listen to it on its own, it's just not your thing. Daft Punk's score for Tron,
oh really,
was phenomenal. But I can't listen to that shit if I'm not watching a futuristic movie about light frisbee. I can't listen to that shit.
See, I agree and disagree with you. I agree.
Making mistakes.
I agree that's phenomenal score. I have listened to that soundtrack many times afterwards. I think it's
you go
fantastic.
to a lot more high school raves than I do.
That's true. I have glow sticks on me right now. But one score that I'd like to say soundtrack that I think dropped the ball that could have been phenomenal even though it was a piss rock movie was Take Me Home Tonight. That could have been a great score.
And because
a shit movie.
Our special guest Josh McCougan and I both ranted about that in our review. The name of the movie is Take Me Home Tonight. Okay, in the trailer for Take Me Home Tonight is the Eddie Money song Take Me Home Tonight. Guess what song was missing from the film Take Me Home Tonight?
Must have been Love?
Take Me Home Tonight!
Good song,
How
by
is
the
that
way.
song not in the movie? That upset me. No Eddie Money in the movie. Other than that, great soundtrack. Motley Crue,
question.
Kickstart My Heart.
Just saw Puss in Boots. They didn't have these boots were made for walking.
Well, that's okay though because
I'm
okay with them not putting
That's
in
a little
animation.
on the
Keep the
schnoz.
score.
You know what, Chris? I saw nothing else but how cute that goddamn cat is for 90 minutes.
When he gets
That
the big
cat is
eyes.
so
When he gets those big eyes.
cute. I love
Mark's
it.
crying like he does when he listens to the score of Rudy.
I am a cat person, and I am getting emotional I'm listening.
You're getting more mail as the seconds
right.
go by.
All right. Well, that has been the Schmoes Know podcast of scores and soundtracks. We have had a loaded episode. I'd like to thank Shotgun Honeymoon for coming in today, playing the great song Up to Something.
Thanks, guys.
You can find Shotgun Honeymoon at shotgunhoneymoon.com. You can also go to their YouTube channel, and Up to Something is their featured video that you can go watch right now. We'll put the link in the description.
Definitely stay tuned for further videos from Shotgun Honeymoon because it's a whole big thing that they're doing. It's a big production.
It's a big to-do, Mark.
It's
It
a
is.
big to-do. They're up to something themselves, and I can't wait to see the next one.
I can't wait to see you guys in a movie.
That's right.
Hear you guys in a movie.
We'd like to thank Chris Stuckman for phoning in. He'll be joining us again now that we know we can do this Skype thing.
Now that I know I get a free lunch.
That's right. YouTube.com/Chris Stuckman. Two ends. The great and funny Mark Ellis.
Thank you very much.
Catherine Reitman, of course, joining us again, bringing up some great points today. YouTube.com/Catherine Reitman. And us, the Schmoes. Schmoes Know. Make sure that you rate and comment this podcast and check us out at youtube.com/Schmoes Know. For me and Mark, thanks, guys.
We'll see you guys at the Christmas party.
Bye.
December
Bye.
10th.